All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a momentous day. Welcome to a very special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the conclusion of Yakuza 7's story. It has been a long time coming. Yakuza 7 came out, what was it, the second week of November? Right? Pretty crazy. The game came out so long ago. I say so long ago. It's not that long ago, but I think you understand what I'm saying, what I'm getting at here. I mean, one of the longest running playthroughs that I've done in quite some time. I'm very excited to see how it ends. Now, first of all, over 80 hours of gameplay. Holy shit, right? That's pretty crazy. Over 80 hours. And I hope that you guys are excited to see how it ends as much as I am. Like, I'm really excited to see how the story is all going to wrap up and end. I honestly don't know right now. It's been quite the ride with all these different things that you've been doing in the game and the plot, how it's got twists and turns and everything. I am pretty excited for this to happen today. So, FYI, how's it going to work today? Let's talk a little bit about this. All right, so there's no misconceptions. So, I'm currently in the Kamurocho Underground Optional Dungeon, which is basically just for grinding. But I'm at the exit to get out early, so we're just going to get out of there. And I'm going to head into the end of the story of the game. From what I'm to understand, alright, the end of the story of the game takes about 2 hours, but there are a lot of cutscenes, and it could take a little bit longer than that. So that's why I have it set today as the main gameplay stream. I figured, hey, after yesterday, after, going through so much and preparing for this end game, why not do an official one more stream just to end the story, okay? So first of all, to make it official, today will be the final major daytime stream of Yakuza 7. After today, when I play the game further, it's going to be a nighttime stream, alright? I just want to make that clear, that this is it for Yakuza 7, the last hurrah for this being a daytime stream, okay? Now, not to say that I'm done with the game, because I am excited for more. I am excited to see what the post-game content is, because apparently once you beat this final story, you actually unlock more stuff. Oh boy. Yes, from what I'm to understand, you actually unlock 2 post-game dungeons, challenge dungeons. I think there's a new challenge tower, and then a final end-game challenge dungeon. Alright, so we're going to see what those end up being. And truth be told, today, if the ending of the game really is about 2 hours long, we may actually get to see some of that content today. Depending on how things go. So that's good news. And I'm excited also, I love RPGs. I love the fact that this game has been so chock full of content, okay, that it's just been, so much mini games, side dungeons and everything, really cool. I don't want it to end. It's been one of my favorite playthroughs by far of 2020, and one of my favorite playthroughs of recent memory. You guys know how much I like JRPGs, and I actually said this on Twitter last night, said I actually feel this game will kind of go down for me to be one of my favorite games of all time. I really do feel that. I feel that this game is going to be that good. Like, in my mind, it's going to stand out as an outstanding game. So, that's why I don't want it to end, alright? So we're going to beat the story today, post-game, see what these dungeons are, and then moving forward, likely a few nighttime streams. In fact, I think I already had one roughly scheduled for later this week. Night streams where I will be doing the post-game dungeons and try them out, okay? We'll see. Now, Prevarog just said something interesting. He said, you might as well go for the Platinum Trophy if you hide the game in such high regard. See, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I don't know exactly what it entails, especially for RPGs like this, typically. Typically, they make you do some really not entertaining, boring, grindy stuff. At least with the post-game dungeons, we may be running into, like, new challenging enemy types and stuff. And I feel that those streams will be really good late night chill streams where we'll just kind of hang out and talk with each other and have a good time, rather than be focused on, oh, the game is so riveting, right? But in regards to like platinuming it, I don't know what else you would have to do. Okay, I guess we'll see. Okay, I don't want to completely write it off and say no, I absolutely refuse. But at the same time, I'm a little skeptical that it's going to be worth it. I guess we'll have to see. Okay. So anyway, that's the deal. I'm very excited for the conclusion of Yakuza 7 today on the stream. I hope you guys are too. This should be hopefully a really great stream. I want to say to those of you who are going to be here, this is going to be an awesome thing. I get the feeling the end of this game is going to be pretty special, and I'm excited to see how it ends. And I'm happy that you guys are going to be sharing this experience with me today. I really am. One of the incredible positive things or assets about being a live streamer is that when I get to play a great game, I get to share that experience with all of you. And I'm really excited to see how Yakuza 7 ends. And, you know, after over 2 months of playing the damn game, obviously, gotta see, you know, really excited to see it wrap up today. So let's see how it goes, folks. All right. Let's see how it goes. Fair enough? All right. So that's today's main gameplay stream. All right. Later tonight, it's going to be a chill stream of Immortals Phoenix Rising. And that should be fun. Last time around, I went into a new area, the Ares God of War area. And so we're going to start off with stuff with that tonight. And obviously, I'm excited for that, too, to see what the new area has to show us. What kind of new challenges, what kind of new enemies, types, etc. Should be good. So I hope you guys will join me for that later tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. FYI, all right, as of last night, it is official. You know, my schedule has kind of shifted around a bit. I can no longer really go super duper late anymore on late streams. Why? Well, it's because my wife's work schedule has changed, okay? And so because her schedule changed, she's going to be coming home earlier on work nights, and those were typically the nights that I was doing late streams really late. Now, when I say really late, what I really mean is like a whole extra hour. Like, typically my late streams start around 6:45, and the gameplay actually starts around, say, like 7:15. And then the gameplay, there's no major breaks during the late streams at all. And so the late streams typically would run about 2 hours of gameplay till around 9:15. Okay? But moving forward, I'm not going to be able to do that. My wife is actually going to be coming home from work around 10. So maybe on late streams I'll be able to go a little bit later on days she works. Maybe like half an hour later. Like, that's what I did last night with Black Ops Cold War. I was actually having fun near the end. I was actually getting better connections than I had been getting the whole night. And I'm like, damn it, kind of sucks that I'm out of time to play. So let me play like 1 or 2 extra matches. And I did. But I cannot go super extended anymore. Now, here's the thing. I want to say thank you to all of you, because many of you joined me over the course of the last several months as I covered the launch of the PlayStation 5. That was really primarily the reason why I went so late those nights, is because I was playing so many games during a very short period of time, and I needed to make progress with said games. And I knew that if I did not take the extra time and put in extra hours of gameplay, there was no way I was ever going to get through all those games. It was just way too many of them. So, thank you to those of you who chilled with me for those extra hours over the course of the last last 2.5 months. It was very fun doing that. But it is now time to get back to kind of regularly scheduled stuff. All right. Sorry if you really enjoyed going ultra late on some of these streams, but, you know, it's time to get back to normality around here. All right. Now, in regards to the schedule, in the next week, it's going to be a pretty unique schedule because we're going to have things that are going to be shifting around. We're going to have stream games that are going to be rotated purposely, because I'm trying to do some variety in what I'm doing. I'm trying to be that it's not always the same exact games earlier on. And with Yakuza 7 finally concluding, all right, that's going to give me opportunity to do a little bit extra on certain games, like switch them around to be the earlier streams. In addition, because Yakuza 7 is concluding, I will finally be able to work on my year-end series, which have been on hold for a whole freaking month. I wasn't able to work on them until I finished Yakuza 7, but finally, I'm going to be able to do that, all right? And that's a great thing, obviously. So, good stuff coming up. Let's talk about the coming week, all right? In fact, let me actually bring up my schedule here in front of me so I can read it day by day, so make sure I'm not screwing up with what I'm telling you guys. Here we go. All right. So as I already said today, Yakuza 7 story conclusion right now. Okay, and then later tonight, Immortals Phoenix Rising. Tomorrow is my day off from streaming. It's my 1 day a week where I run errands and I take care of stuff, you know, offline here. And hope you guys have a good day away, whatever it is that you may be doing during that day. I hope you have a good one. And I hope it's a relaxing one, okay? I'll be back on Wednesday. On Wednesday, what are we doing? First off, it's going to be the continuation of Hitman 3 on the first stream. I'm currently in the 3rd stage of 6. It's a doozy. To say the least, it is a pretty challenging stage. It's huge, this fucking stage. Like, there's so much going on in this stage that I don't even know how long it's going to take me to beat it, quite frankly. It seems like it's going to be very time-consuming to beat because it's a giant nightclub that's underground with a ton of security. Your targets aren't even marked. And I played it for an hour. To give you some perspective, I've already played this for an hour. I only killed 1 target out of 5 you're supposed to kill. Alright? So, obviously it's going to take a while to do this. So, we'll see how it goes on... We'll see how it goes on Wednesday. Wednesday night, more Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War multiplayer on the late stream. Okay? Then on Thursday, it's a continuation of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Because, you know, I know that I haven't played it in a while now. You know, I've been busy now trying to finish up Yakuza, so it kind of rotated the schedule around a little bit. But, yes, that will be continuing as the main stream on Thursday. So Thursday night is going to be my first Yakuza 7 post-game stream. What I'm going to do is try to check out the post-game content, the dungeons that unlocked, etc. And here's the thing. If it ends up not being entertaining, if it ends up not being fun, if it's boring, we don't have to keep doing it, okay? The way I'm approaching it is, let's just give it a shot as a late-night stream. Let's see if people like it, all right? And let's see if it's entertaining for us for a chill stream. If you just want to hang out with me on Thursday night and talk and have a good time while I try to grind in a dungeon, great. If you're here and you're not liking it and you're not finding it entertaining or whatever, fine. Then we don't have to do it again, you know? If the post-game stuff isn't so great, that's all right, but I kind of wanted to do it as an experiment of post-game stuff because I'm excited to see what this content is at the end of the game. Because, like I said, I've loved the game so much. So let's see what happens on Thursday night, okay? Then on Friday, we're doing something different. Okay, we're doing something that I had explained is going to be very different from what I've been doing previously. It's going to be, excuse me, it's going to be Immortals Phoenix Rising on the early stream on this coming Friday. The first stream, 3+ hours of gameplay. That's the first time that I'm actually doing that since the actual launch of the game. And you might say, well, Phil, why are you doing it like that? All right, well, there's a very good reason. Number one, because I'd like to make a little bit more progress in the game. You know, I'm playing it, I'm enjoying it, and only playing it at 2 hours at a time, I'm not getting very far. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I have gotten many requests over the past week and a half. Yes, I got a request over the last week and a half to change up my streams. In particular, 2 games that I've only been exclusively playing as late night streams. People have asked for me to flip and make them the early streams. So those 2 games are Immortals Phoenix Rising, and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Okay? So, I am going to try to flip those and see what happens. I don't know how successful it's going to be. It may be that it's not successful and people don't like it after this, attempt. We'll see. But since I've gotten requests for it, I'm going to entertain it and give it a shot and see what happens. Okay? So, FYI, that's going to be Friday's mainstream Immortals Phoenix Rising. Alright? Friday night is my normal weekly Throwback Street Fighter session on the late stream. Don't worry, because some people were expressing concern. Oh my god, Phil, is your weekly Street Fighter stream going to go away now because you're mixing up the streams this week? And the answer is no. The weekly Street Fighter stream is not going anywhere. It is going to proceed as usual. You don't have to worry about that, being affected. Okay? So, don't worry. Don't freak out. Everything's fine. Don't panic. It will proceed as planned. Okay? Cool. Then on Saturday, the main gameplay stream again will be Hitman 3. So another major stream of Hitman 3. Hopefully, obviously, by then I'll finish up the third stage, maybe heading into the fourth. Finally, on Saturday night, as long as everything goes according to plan this week, alright, Saturday night is going to be the most disappointing games of 2020 countdown. Alright? I hope. And what I mean by that when I say I hope, I mean I just hope that nothing goes wrong. I hope that everything goes according to plan this week and allows me to do everything that I want to do. Because the thing is, to do the year-end series, I have to sit down, I have to actually look at the best games, I have to rank them, and then I have to pull video. Now, I have saved, strategically, I have saved video over the course of this last year of the games that I felt were the best games of the year so that I could easily just grab a video to put into this late night stream of the end of year stuff. Alright? But it takes time. It takes time. And the thing is, when do I have time? When you really think about it, when my wife is home, when she's not working, I spend time with her as much as I can, so I don't have extra time then. It would have to be a night like when she's working, and this week she works Friday, Saturday, Sunday coming up. So Friday night, likely, what I will do is between the streams, take an hour or so to sit down and work on the year-end series, and or maybe after the Street Fighter stream ends, I'll have like an extra half an hour to sit down trying to work on this, put it together, so that way Saturday night, we can do the most disappointing games of 2020 countdown, okay? So the way it's going to work, it's going to be a live stream situation where I'm going to be live counting down the most disappointing games of the year. And I'll be playing video footage of said games and basically doing a little bit of a mini review of each game, explaining to you why I feel it's one of the most disappointing games of the year. Okay? I always do this. This is how I've done it the last, I think, couple of years. And you guys seem to like it. And, of course, I record it for YouTube and I upload it to YouTube. So, should be good. All right? Finally getting to this on Saturday night. Now, the thing is, I don't necessarily know if that stream is going to take an entire late stream. Late stream for me is about 2 hours. And I don't know if it's going to be that long or not. Okay? If it's not, that's fine. We could do something else. Maybe we could switch over to Black Ops Cold War. Or maybe if we were doing that Yakuza 7 post-game stuff and we were having fun with it, maybe we could just switch over and do that for a little bit if there's remaining time on the stream. Okay? We'll see. Then this coming Sunday. Alright? Again, something different. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War multiplayer will be the main stream. I don't think I've even done that since the launch of the game. I think on launch day of the game, I did that, and that was it. I don't think I've done it since then. Right? So, we'll see how that goes. Again, something else different, something completely out of the ordinary that normally I wouldn't do, but I want to see how it goes as a main gameplay stream during the daytime. Already some people are saying it. They're saying, oh, wow, okay, interesting. So some people have only been able to attend daytime streams, and they've never been able to be here for a Call of Duty multiplayer stream. So I want to do it as a daytime stream and see how it goes. Okay? So that's coming up on Sunday. And then Sunday night will be Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yes, this obviously means that Assassin's Creed now is going back to a late night stream, at least for this week. And that's okay. Alright? Then on Monday, again, if everything goes according to plan, I want to continue on with Hitman 3, with the goal hopefully being that day, maybe I can finish up maybe the 4th stage, head on to the 5th, who knows? We'll see, because it all depends on time constraints and how long these stages are. And then on Monday night, so that would be 1 week from tonight, the best games of 2020 countdown live. Okay? So, again, if everything goes according to plan, and the reason I say that again is because I don't know what's going to happen this week with timing and everything. I'm hoping that maybe Saturday night or Sunday night, between my streams, I'll have extra time to work on my Game of the Year awards. I don't know how much time I'm going to have, so it really depends on that. But I'm hoping that I do have extra time. I'll be able to wrap that up on Monday night. So on February 1st, I'm doing my Game of the Year awards for 2020. It just worked out that way this year, all right? With the insane amount of games that came out in a short period of time, there's not much I could do about it, all right? Now, here's the thing. That's not even like the end of the special events and things that I'm working on, right? There's a retrospective event coming up, all right? And I'm excited for that, but if you guys have noticed, my website is still down. From what I'm to understand from my webmaster, he's having a lot of trouble. Basically, he was doing a big server upgrade. And sadly, with the server upgrade, it didn't go smoothly. He's been working on this like non-stop overnight, and it's still not done, which sucks. Now, I haven't heard anything that it's like this means it's the end of, the sky is falling, oh my god, panic or anything like that. At the same time, obviously, it sucks because you guys have been nominating your favorite moments for the upcoming retrospective event, right? And you can't do that when the website's down, right? So it's actually maybe kind of a good thing that the retrospective wasn't scheduled for this week, because if the website isn't live, I don't have all the nominations. I can't do the event, okay? So we'll see what happens. I'm waiting actually for a response from him. I know he's been working on it over a day now, and we'll see. Hopefully everything goes smoothly and he's actually able to fix this. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to find out. But I hope everything goes well and he ends up clearing it up and everything, because it would really suck if the website is screwed up for an extended period of time. Then we can't do the retrospective at all. Okay? Oh, I literally just got an update. Holy crap. All right, here's the update. The server is fully installed and updated. The forum files are now uploaded. Now he's trying to upload the database, which should be ready soon. The hardest part was setting up the server itself. All right. So the good news is the website will be up and running. It's not a horrible, oh my god, end of a world situation. It was just kind of an annoying situation. Okay? That's good. That's good news. So hopefully we can get the website up and running within a day or two. That would be great. Excuse me. And if so, obviously then we'll be working on, when can I do that marathon? Obviously now the marathon, the retrospective marathon is going to be the first week of February, likely next weekend, I'm thinking, because obviously when I do a marathon, I want to do it when the most amount of people can attend, and it seems like maybe next weekend would be the best time for that. We'll see. Okay, so not this weekend coming up, but the weekend after. All right? I'll let you know, obviously, once we get more information on exactly what's going on, but here's hoping for the best, right? All right, so the retrospective is still coming up. I'll let you know when, as we get closer to it, when the website's back and everything, so that you guys can, continue to work on nominations. Because again, the more nominations we get for the best moments of my 12 plus years as a content creator for this event, the better. All right, but I need you guys to keep giving me ideas for a DSP Tries It episode that I'm going to be doing during that marathon. So far, the ideas we have, number one would be to get something from a world market store near me, some kind of a product that maybe is like a cultural specific product from somewhere else outside of the US, and just try out a product and see how it goes. Another idea is to get some pizza and dip it in freaking ranch sauce. I know that sounds weird because it is, but people have actually said this tastes good. I'm not sold. I'm definitely not sold on this idea. All right, but that's what people are saying. They say, "Oh, it's good." Okay. Also, hold on a second here. Also, the final idea is a new clucking chicken sandwich. Okay, apparently there's a new sandwich at Jack in the Box called the Clucking Chicken Sandwich. And this sandwich is, I guess what they're doing is they're trying to directly compete with other places. For example, Popeyes or KFC is now having a new chicken sandwich. So it sounds like they're all trying to compete with each other, right? So we'll see, I guess, how this goes. I don't know. I don't know what you guys want. It's really depending on what you guys want is going to determine what I do for DSP Tries It. So I will emphasize that if you guys want any of these things, let me know. If not, if you have a better idea, let me know. I need more ideas. When this retrospective comes up, I'm going to need an idea for DSP Tries It. Okay? All right. All right, guys. So there you go. Now, in addition to all of that, in the month of February, there's going to be the start of Divinity Original Sin 2. All right? And there's going to be the start of a new Viewer's Choice playthrough, but you guys are going to have to nominate and vote on the game that you want to see for that, okay? So all that is coming up, all right? And I hope that you guys will join me for all that fun next month. Should be a good time. But we got to get there, all right? But there's plenty of stuff between now and then. Good stuff, all right? Okay, outside of all that, I'm just trying to think, is there anything else I want to talk about? There was a lot to talk about with the schedule because the schedule is very different this week. Just trying to think. Is there anything else? I don't think so. I think we can get to the plug segment now. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, I am an independent content creator. What does that mean? It means that I am not contracted anywhere to stream exclusively on a business and get paid for it. Many of the top streamers have these contracts. They just turn on a stream and they get paid. Not me. Okay? I am not in any exclusive sponsorship. I don't have any products to shill to you. I mean, I have a Teespring, but as you notice, I don't really even mention it that much because, you know, I feel that the Teespring thing is a cool thing, don't get me wrong. But it's not a major focus of mine. My focus is not to sit here and advertise products to you guys, okay? Never has been. My focus here is to hang out with you and have a good time with games, right? To have a good social experience, to enjoy what we do here together. And that's always been my focus and always will be. I made YouTube videos for 2.5 years before I ever even like monetized anything, right? And that was because I enjoy what I do, you know? I really do. This is really, it's about the social experience with you guys. It's not about making a buck. It's not, okay? Now, that being said, for over 12 years, I made content on the internet. And for over 10 years now, yes, it's official, over 10 years. Why is everyone saying muted? I am not muted. I know, I'm not muted. People are trying to troll right now, and they're all yelling muted when I'm not muted. Anyway, for over 10 years, I've done this for a living. All right? But not in the ways that I've already mentioned that other people do. All right? For me, it's been all about you enjoying what I do and crowdfunding my efforts to keep doing it. All right? So, thank you. Thank you guys who have stepped up, supported the content, and every day crowdfunded my streams. You're the reason I'm still here. You're the reason I get to do what I love for a living. And I really do appreciate that. It's a special thing for sure to be able to do what you love, let me tell you. And it's the best job I've ever had. I love hanging out with you guys every day on stream. I've told you guys many times that, you know, now that I'm a full-time live streamer, how different this is than what I used to do when I was just a full-time YouTuber, and how much fun I have on a daily basis because of this. So thank you. Sincerely, thank all of you for the fun. All right? So that being said, if you like what I do here, and you want to crowdfund it, you want it to continue, you want to support my efforts to be an independent, to say what I mean, to be honest with you, to not have to pull punches because I'm under a non-disclosure agreement because my stream is a paid advertisement like a lot of other people's streams these days, or, oh my god, I have to watch what I say on my stream because if I don't, I better look out. I'm going to lose sponsors, right? I don't have to worry about any of that. That's the cool thing about what I do, is that everything is genuine, okay? And I pride myself on that. You guys have told me over the last 10 years, the reason that you guys really enjoy what I do is because I'm honest. I'm not going to pull punches. When I'm playing a game, you know exactly what I'm feeling in the moment, okay? So, thank you for supporting that, all right? If you want to, here's how you can. During a live stream, you can either cheer with bits, you can subscribe to the channel, you could gift a subscription to somebody else, or you could tip me. All right, those are all 4 ways that you can help me out if you would like to. And I sincerely appreciate anyone who does contribute in any of those methods. All right, thank you very much in advance for any contributions on the stream. Hold on, I'm closing something on my phone. I'm actually going to plug my phone in now, and we're going to continue on here. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay. So, yes, thank you in advance. Now, please understand something. On my streams, contributions are not mandatory, nor are they expected. All right? My streams are free here on Twitch and always will be. That's the point. It's not subscription-based programming. It's not, oh, you have to pay to be to be noticed. That's not true at all. Every day I talk with you guys, I hang out with you. Contributions are not mandatory at all. All right? However, I consider it going above and beyond being a standard stream viewer if you do support the content in any way. So thank you in advance to anyone who does actually contribute to my streams in a big way, okay? I appreciate that. And that's why every single day, that's disgusting, by the way, excuse me for burping. That's why I try to give a shout out to every single person who contributes to my streams, all right? Whether it's just a cheer or a sub or you tip me or whatever it is, I try to give a shout out because I want you to know how truly grateful I am for all the contributions that keep me going here, okay? So thank you. Thank you, and thank you again for anything, any kind of support. Now, if you are going to support me today, tipping is preferred. When you tip me, those are funds that I get right away to put towards something important. In particular, tomorrow is my day off for the week. That means tomorrow I need to go grocery shopping. I usually need to get some pet supplies, and I believe we do have to get something this week. I think Jasper's food is low. I have to double check that, but I think it is. In particular, I've got some other stuff I need to do during the day that may cost some money. And by the way, my day off is the one day a week when my wife and I don't cook, so we're actually going to order out some food. All right? So being very matter of fact and honest with all of you, that's what your tips go towards. All right? Your tips help me on my day off to afford everything. Okay? So right now, if you tip me today, you're directly helping me for my a more relaxing day off tomorrow. All right? Also, tips pay for games. Tips pay some bills. Tips will pay for taxes. Tips will pay for everything behind the scenes that you guys don't really need to hear about. So they help me out a lot, all right? Now, I'm not saying that cheering and subbing aren't great. They absolutely are, but cheering and subbing help more long-term because I don't see any positive benefit from cheers or subs for a while. There's like a processing time. But with tips, I get the benefit immediately, all right? So please, if you can today, if you are considering contributing and supporting the streams, there's a big Yakuza finale. Please tip me if you can, all right? Cool. Now, a few things. First of all, I'm looking out for you guys. I want you guys to be safe. So if you are a regular of my streams, if you're someone who comes to the streams all the time, and you hang out here and you chat, and maybe you even contribute, I strongly urge you to make your Twitch handle completely different from your real life name and persona and or your accounts on other social media. Reason being, sadly, there are a bunch of no-life losers here on planet Earth, and they enjoy trying to make people's lives miserable as long as they can do it anonymously and get away with it. So, they'll seek out people who are frequenters of a stream and then go try to harass them. They'll try to send you direct messages that are nasty and harassing. I strongly recommend you turn off your open direct messages here on Twitch, because if you leave them open, chances are you're going to get harassed for no reason. I have my direct messages personally turned to a setting where they can only be used by people on my friends list. All right? I strongly recommend you do that. But if you have everything the same account, now these people may come and try to harass you on your social media, and, you know, you don't want that, right? Especially with all the information that's put out there on social media about your friends and family members and stuff. The last thing you want is someone coming to harass you and your family. So do not link that information, keep it separate. Okay? Fair enough? All right. Now, in addition to all of that, if you are considering tipping me today, all right, which I really appreciate if you are, because again, that helps me the most, I strongly recommend, as in I'm basically asking you outright, that you would create a verified PayPal account if you're going to tip me. What does that mean? It means when you go to PayPal, you're making an account that links your personal information, such as your name and address, your bank account number, or maybe your ID, like you put in your ID information. Basically what it's doing, it's verifying your identity to make sure you're a real person. All right, the reason that I ask you to do that is because that adds added protections both for you and for me. When you have a verified account, you get added what's called buyer and seller protections. So if someone tries to commit fraud, it gets shut down. People get actually held accountable for their actions. Without that, someone could easily just send anonymous credit card tips and then charge them back later, basically committing credit card fraud. And this is a rampant issue in the streaming industry where people are getting these chargebacks frequently. In particular with me, in the past 4 months, I've gotten hundreds of them. Someone actually out there who is, let's just put it this way, of ill repute, a scumbag, a living turd, actually has committed hundreds of felonies by buying stolen credit card numbers off the internet and then giving me fake tips, impersonating other stream chatters, and just basically making everyone's lives miserable. Because what happens is the stream looks great, looks like I made a bunch of money, and then guess what? They're all fake. There's been days in the fall, the busy gaming season, where it looked like I had made a lot of tips and everything looked great, and actually they were all fake and they all got taken away. And in addition to that, there's other negative things that happen when a fake tip comes in. There's fees associated with that. There's penalties against the PayPal account when it happens too much. So it's all a nightmare, all right? Obviously, I don't want you guys to be bothered by this bullshit, and I don't want my whole business to go out of business because of it. So that's why I've instituted changes. And one of the changes I made is I need you guys to make a verified PayPal account if you're going to tip me. Now, over the past 3 weeks, many stream regulars have already done so, and it's making the streams much better because now I don't have to sit here and every time a tip comes in, I don't have to verify every tip being legit. I know that there are stream regulars who have verified accounts, and when those tips come in, I know I can trust them. So things are going more smoothly now since I instituted this change and asked you guys to make the verified accounts. And again, by the way, it helps you. When you use your PayPal account, you'll be protected from fraud because you have a verified account. Okay? So please consider creating that verified account, especially if you're going to contribute today during the conclusion of Yakuza 7, a big special event. I hope you guys will do that so that we can have a streamlined stream and I don't have to sit here questioning if these tips are real or not because of the fraudster. All right? All right. Cool. Thank you guys in advance. All right? All right. News. Got 2 major news stories to talk about today. Well, actually, there's 3. First of all, Tencent, which is that major gaming company owned by China, or a Chinese gaming company. They're not owned by the Chinese government, but it's a Chinese gaming company. Bought out the makers of Don't Starve. That company made Don't Starve and a bunch of other games. And it's a Canadian company, and they got bought out by this Chinese company. And people are wondering, what does this mean for the future of the game developer? I don't know. Have we actually heard of many major game developers being bought out by Tencent? I think a few have, and I don't know if there's been any sweeping changes to the company since that happened. From what's being reported, the company is saying, oh, don't worry, we've already been assured by our new owners that nothing will change, that we're going to have full creative control of all of our projects. Of course, they say that now. That doesn't mean that that's going to happen long term. But I guess we'll see what happens. There's really not much to say more about that until we actually see if anything happens, positive or negative, as a result of it. Okay? In addition, another story. Konami. Yeah, remember them? Remember that company that used to make great games like the Silent Hill series and the Metal Gear Solid series and Castlevania? And then for some reason, they just, stopped because they're assholes. Remember when they fired Kojima in the middle of the development of Metal Gear Solid 5, so the game was unfinished? Remember when they told Kojima he couldn't go to the Game Awards because he was still under contract with them, even though they fired him? Remember when they reshifted in the last 10 years and said they're not really going to focus on video games anymore, but they're going to make pachinko machines? Yeah, remember that, Konami? Well, Konami has made an announcement that they are restructuring their whole company. In particular, they're going to be restructuring, for example, their gaming division, all right? people are wondering what this means, because of course people have been holding out. There's been rumors over the past 1 to 2 years that Konami was going to reboot Silent Hill as a modern horror series. And people have been saying, oh, leaked info, leaked here, leaked that. But there's never been anything that actually came out of Konami officially at all. It's always been just rumors and hearsay. Well, with this announcement, a lot of people are now saying maybe it was all bullshit. Maybe there actually is nothing new coming out of Konami, and what this is going to be is a restructuring where they say, fuck it, we're just not going to work on games anymore. They really haven't done much. They really haven't done much at all in regards to game development. If you remember, after Kojima left, they made that Metal Gear Survive game or whatever, which was god-awful terrible and wasn't even really Metal Gear. And since then, have they really done anything significant as a game developer? I mean, not really, right? So, I think really the reason that this is a story is because everyone's nervous that this means it's the end of games from Konami. And there's many IPs under Konami that we love. I've just mentioned a few of them. Metal Gear, I guess I should say Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, and Castlevania, just to name a few. So if they're hanging up the hat and they say, we're done with games, will they sell those IPs to other companies to continue to make those games? Or is this the end of them completely? Funny Maverick just said something interesting in the chat. He says, to everyone, start collecting those Silent Hill games because they're going to go up in price. Yeah, that's the thing. If Konami is now going to shut down their games division, which they may not, then that means they'll probably never, ever republish these games. So the physical copies of these games may actually become collector's items. And some of these games already are kind of rare to find a disc. So, yeah. I guess we'll see what happens. Again, it's all rumors and hearsay. We don't really know what this restructuring means. Companies go through restructuring all the time. All right, they do. They go through restructuring all the time. So it's not a huge deal, but at the same time, it is kind of a big deal for a company that really used to be a dynamo in game development and publishing, and now they haven't done anything in 5+ years of any significance. So it's obvious they've already had a redirection in what they're doing. So I guess we'll see what happens. All right? I guess we'll just see what happens moving forward. Okay? The final piece of news I have today is not gaming news. But for someone like me who over the years has been a fan of professional wrestling, this is an interesting story. So listen up. For those who care. If you don't care about professional wrestling, you're probably not going to care about this story. All right? So about 7 years ago, I think it was 2014, all right, the WWE announced a groundbreaking, revolutionary new thing they were doing. They were going to create the WWE Network, all right, an on-demand, one-stop shop place where you were going to be able to get all things WWE, whether it was exclusive new fun shows or original series, the pay-per-views, which are their special events that they hold pretty much monthly. They were going to now have exclusively on this network. Like, there were many, many reasons if you like WWE to get the WWE Network. It was just like a no-brainer. If you're a fan, you absolutely want to get the WWE Network. All right? $10 a month, and you get unlimited access to all of this stuff. By the way, they also bought out the catalogs of other wrestling promotions, WCW, ECW, all of these places, to have them all on demand so you could go back and watch the entire history of pro wrestling for like the past 20, 25 years, all the way to like the early 90s, okay? There's even stuff on there from the late 1980s. So, some people very excited about that, some people not so much, but for the most part, what I can say is, for me, it's been a pleasant experience. I had it for a while. I had it for many years, actually. For me, it was really cool because you could basically take a trip down memory lane and you could watch such cool stuff from the past. A lot of this like Attitude Era stuff. I wasn't watching WWE in the Attitude Era, and I was able to watch that, and it was really good. They had a reality show called Legends House that featured a lot of the much older pro wrestlers as well as personalities like Mean Gene Okerlund, a ring announcer and like news guy in wrestling. And It was a really cool reality show they had actually filmed years prior to the WWE Network and didn't have anywhere to put it. They originally were going to try to get a WWE television channel, but they never were able to broker a deal. So they finally put it out on the network. And what's crazy is when they put the show out, within like a year or two, a lot of the people on the show had passed away. So it was like the last opportunity to see these guys do something fun and interesting before they all passed away, which was crazy. So the WWE Network, for me, when I watched it, I actually really enjoyed it. But over the last year or so, I basically just kind of fell out of love with wrestling. I still follow it, but I unsubscribed from the network because I wasn't watching it anymore. All right? I found that with it. They're basically, in my opinion, there's just an oversaturation right now of the market of pro wrestling. Because there's WWE alone has like so many ongoing wrestling shows. They've got Raw, SmackDown, NXT, which is their developmental property. They've got another show called 205 Live, which is like the cruiserweights, the lighter guys who do like high-flying moves. Then they've got the WWE NXT UK, which is people in the United Kingdom who are wrestling. Then they've got all these behind-the-scenes documentaries and shows, the pay-per-views. It's like, if you really want to be invested in pro wrestling, just WWE, you got to spend like 40 hours a week watching it. It's like a full-time job. And if you don't, you miss out on a lot of stuff. You don't even know what's going on. Okay? It just became too time-consuming for me. And then on top of that, there's other promotions out there, like there's Impact Wrestling, there's AEW Wrestling, there's New Japan Pro Wrestling, who are all competitors with WWE on a much smaller scale, and people constantly talk about that. It's like, dude, there's no way I can watch all this crap. So I just stopped entirely, all right? The reason I'm bringing this up today is because giant news, at least if you're in part of the pro wrestling community and you follow it, after 7 years of WWE Network, they're basically getting rid of it, all right? But what does that mean? Does that mean that they're going out of business? No, it's the opposite. They sold out. WWE has sold their rights to all of their content to NBC Universal, all right? Or Peacock, for over $1 billion. Holy shit. That's a lot of dough. So NBC Universal apparently feels there's enough value in the WWE brand that bringing over all of the subscribers of WWE Network to their existing streaming app, which is called Peacock, is worth it. They feel they're going to get value by basically buying out all of those customers, okay? From what I'm to understand, this is only currently happening in the United States, but eventually they're going to try to broker deals for everywhere, because the WWE Network is worldwide. There's people who watch it in the UK. There's people who watch it in India. There's people who watch it all over the place. And so they're not included in the current deal, but apparently they're going to try to keep going and basically get everyone in on this, all right? Now, what does this mean, okay? If you're an actual subscriber to WWE Network, the cost of the network is actually going down. Because currently it's $9.99 a month. They're saying you're now going to go to a subscription that's only $5.99 a month, and you get access to all of the same content, but now you have to watch it through the Peacock app instead of the WWE Network app, which will no longer exist. Okay? Now, I've never used the Peacock app. It's really the only place now you can watch The Office. From what I understand, like The Office, I think it was through Netflix, but isn't it gone now? I don't know. But basically, Peacock is a place you get all these Office episodes with extended cut and stuff. It's one of their most popular shows ever on television, The Office, the American version of The Office, by the way. So apparently a ton of people already have Peacock, and they use it to watch that kind of stuff. And of course, all the current NBC shows that are on TV. So I don't know anything about the app, if it's better or worse than the WWE Network app. I wouldn't know. But this is going to bring a giant customer load over to the app. I hope they're ready for it. That's a giant user base that's going to jump onto the app. It's in March, by the way. It's supposed to happen in March, the conversion over. And so it could be a big deal. It could, will the app be able to handle it? Who knows? But here's the catch. Oh, wow, this sounds good. I'm a network subscriber. I'm going to get the same exact content for less. Yes, but the problem is the Peacock app has ads. Tons of them. Like, you're watching a show and every 5 minutes a fucking ad plays. And a lot of the on-demand video services do this. They make a ridiculous amount of money on ad space. So you just went from an ad-free program to a program that's going to have ads constantly. So will this piss people off? I don't know. Now, but get this. You can upgrade your Peacock subscription to the premium edition, and that's $10 instead of $6, and that has no ads. So for the same price of what you're already paying now on WWE Network for no ads, you can get WWE Network content on the Peacock app with no ads. So essentially, there's no change at all for anyone watching WWE content. If they pay the same amount of money, they'll basically get the same experience. Hopefully, gotta hope the Peacock app is as good as what WWE Network was. So just think about this. Think big picture, big business. WWE is no longer responsible for their own streaming content. Someone else has to deal with it. If there's issues with the app, NBC has to deal with it. If there's issues with, the show's not showing up right away, NBC has to deal with it. They're basically completely offloading all responsibility for their content to another company. And they just got paid over $1 billion to do that. You know, a lot of people talk shit about Vince McMahon. I talk shit about Vince McMahon. I think he's an asshole. I think he's an old crotchety geezer who makes a ton of bad decisions in regards to the well-being of his talent. However, he is a businessman. And I just heard a cash register the size of Africa go ka-ching, and I heard the drawer slam. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy that he just did that, made that much money. Although it's hilarious. Little dude just said in the stream chat, yeah, but look at what happened with Vince McMahon in the XFL. Yeah, twice. He made the XFL twice, and it failed twice. Now, of course, arguably, the second time the XFL failed was because of COVID. If COVID didn't happen, maybe the XFL would have still existed and been successful long term. We don't know. But holy crap, this is a huge money-making thing for WWE. What will it mean? Nobody knows. Because will this money just go to line Vince's pockets, or will he actually invest in his company and upgrade things to make things better for his talent? Who knows? But it's ginormous business news, and everyone's talking about it on the internet right now. For me, it won't affect me because I don't watch it anymore. You know? This came at a time when, really, it's interesting news to talk about, but, won't affect me. I don't know about you guys. If you're WWE Network subs, it may or may not affect you depending on where you're located in the world. So, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. It's time to move on to shout-outs for your contributions. So let's do so, shall we? All righty. So, overnight, I received several cheers. First of all, Golden Colts cheer. He says, what do you think the best food to take with you is if you're going camping in remote wilderness? First of all, I've never been camping in remote wilderness. At all. But what I would guess is if you're going to be outdoors for several days, remote wilderness, you want to take stuff that's not going to spoil easily. So that means dried food. Granola, trail mix, beef jerky, right? That kind of stuff. Or things that are very easy to cook over, say, a fire. Maybe like make some kind of a soup, or make a thermos full of soup you can warm up. That kind of stuff. Boil some water, make something in it. That's what I would guess. I've never been camping myself, so I couldn't answer the question. Some people say make some s'mores. Well, I'm not exactly sure that's the best food to be eating out there, but I'm just saying. Golden Cold Street again. He says, did you add oil when you fry some eggs? Well, it depends. If you have a non-stick coated pan, you don't need oil at all. All right? And sometimes adding oil to a non-stick coated pan, you're basically doubling down, and you're adding unneeded calories and things. So it all depends on the pan you're using. If you have the non-stick pan, you don't need to use oil. All right? If you don't have a non-stick pan, then yes, what I usually do, I don't just pour oil into the pan. I actually use the spray stuff. You can buy a spray can, and sometimes I use olive oil, sometimes just canola oil, and you just go, tsh, and you're good. You just need a little spritz. So there you go. Golden Cold Shirt again. He said, have you ever been to a Rainforest Cafe restaurant? They scared the shit out of me when I was a little kid. Yes. Actually, when I first moved out here in 2014, my local mall had a Rainforest Cafe. Now, I had never seen one before. I didn't even know what they were. And I went there a few times. They were basically remained open for about 2 years, and then they went out of business. Excuse me. For those who've never been to a Rainforest Cafe, what it is a restaurant, a themed restaurant that actually tries to simulate a rainforest. I know that sounds silly. What you do is you go inside. First of all, around the edges of it, they usually have a big aquarium with a bunch of fish, tropical fish, so it looks really cool from the outside. They actually have a gift shop that's built into the restaurant where you can buy all kinds of stuff, stuffed animals, t-shirts that say Rainforest Cafe, cups, all kinds of stuff there. And then they have the restaurant, and the restaurant is completely decorated to look like a rainforest. There's like fake palm trees and fake tropical trees and all kinds of stuff. There's actually animatronic gorillas that actually move and go ooh, 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 and they actually sometimes will do a musical number where they'll start playing a little bit of music and they'll start like moving around to it. And also, there's an area where it simulates a rainstorm, like a thunderstorm. So all of a sudden you'll be eating and all of a sudden you'll hear cracking of lightning and you'll look up and the ceiling will be flashing and you'll hear lightning and rain sounds and all the animals will start to move around in the cafe. Okay? It's pretty crazy. When you really think about a restaurant, you're like, I'm going to sit down and eat. No, this is like a fucking experience. It really is. Obviously, it's catered towards kids, but going there for the first time, I was like, wow, I'm actually blown away. I haven't seen anything like this in a million years. Now, as for the food there, it's an interesting mix. You could get a lot of Americanized food there, but they kind of specialized in more tropical foods. Like they would have like a glazed shrimp dish, different kinds of steak, stuff like that. I think they actually had ribs too, stuff like that. A couple pasta dishes. It was a variety of food. The thing is, all overpriced. Why? Because it's a theme restaurant. So when you're buying the food, essentially you're paying for the food, but you're also paying a premium for all the things around you. The maintenance of the aquarium, the maintaining of the animatronics, you're paying for all that. So, you know, normally you go to a restaurant, something you pay $20 for. At this restaurant, you were probably paying $30 for it. Okay? So it wasn't like, it didn't blow me away, the restaurant, but it was a fun experience as like a themed thing. The one thing, actually the thing I liked the best, they actually had a fruit juice mix that they would do. These tropical fruit juices they would mix together, and it was really good. And then they actually had an alcoholic version of it that was kind of like almost like a tropical punch with real fruit juice in it, but also rum and stuff, and it was really, really good. But they went out of business. They were only open for about 2 years, and then all of a sudden the fish disappeared. And I was like, well, what are they doing? Why are all the fish not in the aquarium? And you would ask, and the staff didn't even know. And then within like another month, they went out of business, and they now have been turned into a dumpling restaurant. I think it's called like dim sum something else, and it's like a handmade dumpling restaurant. So totally different. And for everyone to understand, Rainforest Cafe pretty much across the country here in the United States has closed down. I guess it was they figured they're not profitable anymore. So it is what it is. By the way, obviously now with COVID, they would have went out of business anyway. The whole gimmick of Rainforest Cafe is sitting down in the rainforest to eat your meal, and how would you do that? You can't in COVID. It's closed. So they wouldn't have survived as a takeout restaurant. So I guess they kind of closed around the right time. Sucks, but it is what it is, right? Okay. Golden Colts, cheers. I can't think of another one. Have a good stream. All right. Well, thank you, Golden Colts, for the cheers overnight. Appreciate that. All right. So the next cheer, actually these cheers came in before the stream started. They're all from Phantasy Star PG, so let's answer their questions. First cheer said, it was a 500-bit cheer. Thank you, man. He said, what do you think of Disney's new Kingdom Hearts-like strategy for Marvel TV shows, where if you don't want to miss out on major story developments between films, you got to watch all the Marvel TV shows? I know people who love the Marvel movies but don't keep up with the Marvel shows. Hey, it's an interesting strategy, because if you become completely immersed in this creative universe, there is so much content to digest. And by the way, so much content to spend money on. And I think that's really what they're going for. Much like WWE, they have so much content they put out that you have to be completely immersed. You have to watch 40 plus hours a week to stay up on the product. It's kind of the same with the Marvel stuff. But for me, it's too much. Like, I don't want to have to watch 5 shows and then watch 10 movies a year to understand what's going on. I have watched a lot of the Marvel movies. The last one I saw was Endgame, and I have not seen one after that. Maybe one day I'll start getting caught up on them again. But it's just like so much going on that it's kind of too much to handle, in my opinion. It becomes overwhelming. Okay? Fantasy Star PG cheered again. He says, speaking of Kingdom Hearts, where do you see the Kingdom Hearts games going with all the Disney live-action movie reboots of things like the hit DuckTales reboot that's way better than the original DuckTales IMO? Do you see the new Disney reboots coming to Kingdom Hearts with the multiverse to help explain things like the good Maleficent? Side note, I wish that Kingdom Hearts would add characters like Goofy, son of Darkwing Duck. I have no idea. If you look at Kingdom Hearts 3, they didn't really do any of that. All they did is they integrated a few new movie franchises, and that was it. And then they went back and did some of the same old shit again. So, I don't know. Are they even making a new Kingdom Hearts game? I haven't heard anything to that effect. So, I can't really answer that. It would be cool if they integrated new Disney stuff into Kingdom Hearts, but they don't usually do that, right? Fantasy Star RPG cheered again. And he says, get ready. We finally know what the Resident Evil 8 demo was. It's similar to Resident Evil 7's clown puzzle when the videotapes let us preview the clown puzzle ahead of Ethan getting there. And also, I love the creepy sound effects of the game, but I saw reviewers saying if people weren't using headphones, they didn't get the full effect of the noises. Okay. What I surmised when I was playing the Resident Evil 8 demo / visual preview is that what we saw there will be reminiscent of some of the gameplay of the game, but it's not actually contained as a main part of the game, maybe even for a long time. Like, I surmise maybe at one point we actually will go into that mansion and we will be trying to fight creatures and survive. And maybe there will be a boss fight against some of these vampire women or whatever the fuck they're supposed to be. But I don't think that that's the main game. I think that really was meant to be just a very small appetizer to let you kind of see how the game was going to look and run and present itself when it comes out in May. So, no, that's not going to be a main part of the game, I don't feel. That story, mini story of you being someone waking up in a cell, that's completely insignificant to the game itself. But maybe later on in the game, Ethan will be going to that mansion and fighting creatures in that mansion and trying to survive against those women. Okay, that's my guess. All right, now we actually get the people who cheered and contributed during today's live stream. We start off with Dangerous Dave, who resubscribed for 17 months. Thank you very much, Dangerous Dave. I appreciate that. Life of Her Soul was today's first cheerer with a 100-bit cheer, so let's get him up on the leaderboard. 100 bits? Yes. He says, Final Fantasy X2 is a lot better than Final Fantasy X. Well, I guess Final Fantasy X-2 is a lot better than Final Fantasy X. I don't know why I'm calling it X. I never understood the hate for X2. I called it X2 again. I never understood the hate for X-2. Was it because of the three main waifu characters? Or is it because it didn't include that wannabe guy Cloud from 10? From what I'm to understand, all right, the game, number one, the formula of the game is just different. You know, the original Final Fantasy X is a typical turn-based RPG, while apparently I guess the combat of X-2 is very different. And you're right, like, they took away the protagonist, Titus, and they took away a lot of the other cast, and it's just about these three girls. And I guess a lot of people didn't like the writing. They thought the plot was terrible because it was just about these three girls, and a lot of people say, I guess the plot's kind of frivolous. It doesn't really matter. It's just stupid. And like someone told me yesterday or the day before, they said the gameplay is actually quite good. It's a really solid RPG romp. It's different, but it's very fun. The problem is the plot's like not interesting. So, there you go. That's at least from what I'm to understand. I've never played it. Lives Were Sold did a 263-bit cheer, so let's update this to say that he did 263 now instead of just 100. And he says the following. Eres la mejor. Puedo decir, oh, excuse me. Puedo decir lo genial y increíble que eres. Eres el mejor streamer en Twitch y en todo el planeta. And then he said the DSP right emotes. Okay. So basically he just said, this is incredible. I'm the best streamer on Twitch and on the planet. All right? So there you go. By the way, my pronunciation is terrible. I haven't read Spanish in a long time. So I apologize for that. I'm sure you're all very, very upset how I butchered that. Okay? But I could read it. That's the thing. I can read Spanish, and I can understand Spanish when I hear people speak it. I cannot speak it myself. I can't, but I can interpret it. Okay. That was acceptable? What? Snow Carl says that was acceptable. It was? I thought I butchered it. I thought that sounded terrible. Okay. Lives Were Sold cheered again. He says, during your best and worst games of 2020, can they be like a mini review of each game? Yes, what I do I go through each entry. So, for example, let's say we're doing the top 10 most disappointing games of 2020. Number 10, Fart Wars. And what I'll do is I'll play video of the game Fart Wars. And during that video, I'll talk about how the game was bad, what was disappointing, for what was bad about it. I'll highlight if there's anything good about the game. But, like maybe the actual sounds of the farts were very representative of real fart. Maybe they captured real life farts, and that was like a big positive. But then I'll talk about the negative, like the stink, which is very bad. So that's what I would do. And basically each game I'll talk about for a few minutes. So if there's 10, that means guaranteed the show is going to be like half an hour to an hour, because I'm going to talk about each game for at least 3 to 5 minutes, you see. By the way, Fart Wars, that was just an example. Fart Wars may actually be in my top 10 best games of 2020. All right. Okay. Lives for Soul cheered again. He said, I tried Popeye's chicken for the first time. I didn't like it. Tasted like light heater chickens you find at a not so crappy gas station. KFC and the Coronal. You mean Colonel? He said Coronal. The Corona. You have coronavirus on the brain. You called him the Coronal. KFC and the Coronal have the best chicken. Well, I disagree. I think KFC chicken is far too greasy. It tastes good, don't get me wrong. But KFC chicken is far too greasy. Half the time you go there, you're completely slathered and covered in grease trying to eat it. Half the time the skin falls off the fucking chicken because it's so disgusting and greasy. Popeye's chicken is crunchy and full of flavor, and it has extra seasonings that are like southern style seasoning. I particularly like the Popeye's chicken tenders. They're huge usually. So, but that's just my take. You could disagree with me. That Anonymous cheered. He said, I tried to tip you. My credit card is so black, racist host at PayPal won't take it. That Anonymous, I'm not so sure that's funny. I'm also not so sure that's something you want us to be saying on Twitch. I have no idea. I think you need to rethink your humor style. All right. Jad F cheered. He says, can you stream your yearly recap session on mainstream since literally only USA people can watch your late streams? No. It's not enough content to make up a mainstream. And the thing is, if I were to do it that way, you'd have to wait. You'd have to wait longer for me to do it, because sadly, like I said, I have to take time to do it. I have to take time to sit down, make the list, rank the games, think about what I'm going to say, pull video footage, prepare it, and put it into OBS. That takes time. And if I had to do it for both of those countdowns, to do them in one stream, now you're talking hours and hours, so it may take another week or so for me to even start these fucking things. Like, I won't even do it till next week. I don't want to wait that long. It's been too long. By doing it as a late night stream, number one, I can do it more quickly. And number two, if we finish early, I can easily switch over to something that's not a big deal. I can switch over to a little bit of Call of Duty or switch over to a little bit of Yakuza and just play it instead of a main stream where now I'm hanging for 2 hours and nothing to do. You see? I understand what you're saying, but understand that these shows will be recorded and immediately uploaded to YouTube. So it doesn't matter if you're there live or not. You'll still be able to watch it relatively quickly. And I apologize, Jadef. I know you want to be there live. The feeling of being there live is kind of special. I agree with you. But that's just kind of the way I got to do it. All right? Snow Carl cheered, and he said, tomorrow is a 1-year anniversary of a terrible day. Your Knights of the Old Republic save file was corrupted. Last year it was a cursed day, and I wanted to make sure you take care during your day off, especially in these pandemic times. Well, that was really the least of everyone's worries last year, because we lost Kobe Bryant and his daughter and many other people in that helicopter crash, which is terrible. Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant and his daughter and everyone else who was lost in that chopper crash. That's all I have to say about that. Jack Seabath cheered. He said, do you plan on doing April Fool's game marathon like back in the day? Probably not. I haven't done that in years and years. We're so busy covering regular stuff. And typically, if they're on that time of year, there's a lot of new games these days. I doubt I'll be doing it. Unless there's really nothing to do, then maybe I will. Okay? Okay. All right. Continuing on. Lice for Soul now did a 110-bit cheer. So you try out the Gamer Smoothie Extreme. A bag, I don't know, this sounds disgusting. I think he's just joking. It's some kind of an internet meme. A bag of Doritos blended with Mountain Dew. That's fucking nasty. Silly and positive fun. No, excuse me. Silly and fun positive man? Oh my god. Silly and fun positive man? This is the name you chose on Twitch? Seriously? He cheered and he said, you know, you and AOC say and Ayoned. It's epic. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Anyway. Lives were sold cheered again. What the hell's going on? Oh, tell me this didn't freeze up. Okay, I got it unfrozen. Good. Lives were sold cheered again. He says, after your stream is over, can chat come to my stream? It's not a distractor stream. It's a lover stream. No, I purposely don't do that because it brings trolls. Joker Jonesy has resubscribed for 14 months. A crazy question. If done in a competitive setting meant for only 2 players, would you rather have a Looney Tunes fighting game or a Disney Villains fighting game? Both would be good. Right? I think both would be good. If the game's played like Marvel vs. Capcom, think about that. Or Darkstalkers. Oh, man. Imagine a Disney Villains fighting game that played like Darkstalkers. Yo, that would be sweet. I would go for that. Scar could be like John Talbane and doing these crazy ass combos. Yeah, think about that. You could have a necromancer. What's the name of the guy from Princess and the Frog? Dr. Facilier. He could be summoning undead zombies to come fight you and shit, right? You could have Ursula doing giant combos with tentacle combos and her eels. She could summon her eels as a super, and the eels come out and do extra damage in a combo or something. All right, we're doing it. Disney villain stalkers fighting game. I'm calling it. That would be amazing. I want it. Do it. Make money. Shut up and take my money. They're not going to do it. You know they're not going to do it. Savage Today has done a 1,000-bit cheer. The biggest cheer of today. He says, wishing you well, all the way from South Africa, and very much looking forward to the conclusion of the game today. Ever consider creating a Darkseid Phil Funko Pop for the fans? What on earth do you think that Funko Pop would want to make a Funko Pop of me? That would never happen. Why would they want to do that? I'm nobody. I'm no one important. They're not going to do that. But thank you for the very generous cheer. Scout Ass has resubscribed for 3 months. So what do you think of a computer graphics card shortage? I don't know anything about it. At one point, years ago, there was a graphics card shortage because people weren't using them. Weren't they using them to mine Bitcoin and shit or something crazy like that? People were trying to make money doing it. But outside of that, I don't really know much else. So, alrighty. Let's see here. Angelo Bestia cheered. He says, looking back, do you think Final Fantasy 13 deserves all the hate it gets? What about Final Fantasy 13 2? I heard Lightning Return sucks ass. I'm looking forward to more info on 16. 13, I actually overall enjoyed the game. I thought the graphics were great for the time on PS3. The music was absolutely outstanding in that game. The combat system at first was a little bit bad, but then when I got used to the system, I actually enjoyed it. And they actually, once the game opened up, after being linear for like 20 plus hours, the game opens up to have open world exploration. And when it does, the game gets really fun. The one thing I didn't like about it, sadly, was the plot. The plot was convoluted. Some of the characters, like Vanille, were absolutely fucking obnoxiously annoying and just not fun. They were just like, it was like, oh, a segment with Vanille. Well, hold on and let me just take my nails and scratch them on this chalkboard for about 30 minutes. You know, it was that bad. Like, I just hated it. But overall, I enjoyed the game. Now, Final Fantasy X-2. Wait a minute. Final Fantasy 13-2, excuse me. Was a little different because it was a completely different storyline where you were doing time manipulation mechanics. And I felt that they actually added enough to the game that were interesting. But was it, like, amazing, groundbreaking? Not really. But it was fun. I did enjoy the game. Sadly, then they ended it with Lightning Returns, which was a piece of donkey shit. The game was literally a cash-in garbage and should never have been made. So, yeah. That's my thoughts. Does it deserve the hate it gets? Final Fantasy 13? It's not a terrible game. Overall, it's a pretty solid installment in the series. And by the way, I should say this, it's a complete game. Unlike Final Fantasy 15, which was an unfinished game. Final Fantasy 13 is actually a complete game. So... oh, let's see here. Savage 2 cheered again, another 300 bits. What was the most expensive DVD or Blu-ray collection you ever purchased? Something you had to own and not stream? Like, what was the most expensive set I ever bought? Well, I owned many different animated series. I owned all the Justice League Unlimited, Batman, Superman, animated series, Batman Beyond. I owned the entire set. At one point, I owned the entire set of James Bond movies. I don't have those anymore, but I did have them once. I think that was pretty expensive when I bought it, and I watched them all like once. Truth be told, I never really think I don't think I bought individually super expensive stuff. I think that overall the value of the collection could have been something because I owned so many individual movies, but I don't think I ever bought like, oh, I dropped $400 to have this really expensive collection of movies. No, I never really did that. In fact, usually when I bought the movies, I would try to buy them at a discount. If I'm going to buy a collection, wait for it to be on sale. Like, I didn't own the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street collections until they were like at a discount. Then I went and snagged them up for a cheap price. So Lights for Soul did a 200-bit cheers. I'm your biggest fan. Thank you, Lights for Soul. Westside Phil did a 50-bit cheers. I'm a huge Seahawks fan. How far are you from the Seahawks training facility? I don't know. I don't know where that is. I'm about 45 minutes away from the stadium that the Seahawks play in. But I don't know where their training facility is. Chipe to me $1.30 says number 15 Burger King foot lettuce. What? Huh? I have no idea what you just said. Does anyone understand that? I don't. That went right over my head. I don't know what the hell that was. LP101 tipped me $1. Says Bambi will have a super move where her mother dies. It's an instant kill. Wow. That's fucked up. Why would you say that? But Bambi's not a Disney villain. We were talking about a Disney villain fighting game, right? There's certainly enough of them. Hades could do crazy things with fire, hellfire, and demons. Just think about all the Disney villains you could put into that game. Maleficent, Hades, you know, Scar. Like I said, Ursula, Dr. Facilier. I think who are the big villains? The big Disney villains, right? You could even go to the 3D movies. You could take villains from the 3D movies. Like you could take what's his name? Zurg from the Toy Story. And he could have a gun character. He's a ranged character who zones you with his guns. He shoots you from a distance with lasers and guns. Jafar could use magic. There you go. Maybe Jafar has a super where he temporarily becomes the genie, right? What's his name? From Monsters, Inc. What's the name of the chameleon dude from Monsters, Inc. played by Steve Buscemi? I can't remember the guy's name. But he could have an ability where he goes invisible temporarily. Yeah, this could be cool. I like this idea. I seriously like this. Oh, his name's Randall? I seriously like this idea. I want this game. I want this Disney game. Yeah, Scar's fight intro, he kicks Mufasa off the ledge, and then he turns around and he goes, "Now it's your turn." Yes. Oh, dude, I want this game. I want this game now. This is amazing. Anyway, shout out to Westside Phil, who cheers, and he says, Eric says Kobe Bryant is one of his favorite NBA players growing up. Who had great games at my team, the Toronto Raptors. He teamed up with Ron Artest or Meta World Peace. Do you mean Derek? You said Eric. Anyway, yes, again, rest in peace to Kobe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to the top cheerers of the week so far. The week is young. Today's only the first streaming day of the week, and these stats overnight they reset. But thank you to those who've cheered so far, including Snow Carl, Jad F, and Nat Anonymous, who are tied for 8th. Westside Phil, Silly and Fun Positive Man, and Jack Seabath tied for 5th. Golden Colts is in 4th. Fantasy Star PG is in 3rd. License for Souls is in 2nd. And Savage 2 Day is the top cheerer so far this week. Also, crap. I was going to say thank you to those who have gifted subs, but it looks like that leaderboard didn't freaking update. And now I have to try to refresh. And you know what happens when I try to refresh the freaking leaderboards? It doesn't always... Oh, it worked. Holy shit, it worked. All right, no one has gifted a sub yet today, so therefore, I have no shout-outs to do for gifted subs. Westside Phil Cheers says, have you seen GameStop stock today? Do you think it'll crash? Didn't it spike to an insane amount and then immediately dip back to normal? I don't even know if it was legit. Like, so I see a couple people who follow the stock market, and someone had commented on this. They said it, like, went way up for no reason, and then it, like, went right back to normal, and no one knows what happened. Why did that happen? Did something fuck up? I wonder what happened. Because there's nothing that happened in GameStop news today. So, I don't know. It's because of Reddit? What about Reddit? What happened on Reddit? I don't know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. I have to use the restroom. Let's take a break, all right? When I come back, uh-oh, my internet is blipping. Whoa, my internet just dipped out and came right back. Ooh, that was weird. All right, you guys may notice a blip on the stream. I don't know what happened there. It said the internet went out and came right back. That was weird. I guess it happens every once in a while. A little bit of noise in the line. All right, so anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, it will be the conclusion of Yakuza 7's story. It's going to take a couple hours. Let's just sit back and enjoy it, have some fun combat, enjoy the story. I can't wait to see how this ends. It's going to be a wild ride, I'm sure. I can't wait, guys. And then after that, well, if we have time, we'll do some post-game stuff, all right? Westside Filtered again, he said you should take your earnings for a week and pump and dump GameStop stock. No. Okay, break time. I'll be right back. Please take this opportunity, grab a drink or a snack, use the restroom yourself, whatever you need to do when we come back. It's the big conclusion. Don't miss it. See you in a few minutes.